Welcome. Today I'm going to share 3 life-changing strategies for moms divorcing a narcissist. I'm Tessa Noel, certified divorce coach, co-parenting specialist, and creator of this masterclass. Whether you're just starting this journey, deep in the process, or looking to adjust post-divorce strategies, this masterclass is for you. These proven tools will help you protect your kids, safeguard your sanity, and build a brighter future through the divorce process. Psychology Today found that in marriages where one partner exhibits traits of narcissistic personality disorder, 75% of divorces become prolonged and contentious, often involving legal and emotional manipulation. That's why having the right strategies and tools is essential to survive the process and take control and thrive in the face of conflict. These are actionable strategies you can start using immediately to stay ahead and reclaim your peace of mind. And as a thank you for staying all the way to the end of this masterclass, you'll receive 2 very valuable resources: a digital download of my AI hack guide to communication with your narcissistic ex, and a cheat sheet for my kind method for communication, which we'll cover in this masterclass today. Because I believe in transparency, and let's be honest, I've been around the family court system long enough to know that this is how it works. Here's what you need to know. Nothing in this masterclass should be interpreted as legal advice or financial advice. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not a licensed therapist. What you will gain from this masterclass are practical, actionable strategies to help you navigate the complexities of high conflict co-parenting and divorce. In addition, if you or your child are in immediate danger, please contact 911 or reach out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline at the number on the screen. We all share a profound responsibility to keep children safe. If you are unable to co-parent safely, it's important to involve Child Protective Services, the police, and consult with an attorney. If you suspect your child is being physically harmed by your co-parent, do not hesitate. Seek legal protection and medical attention for them immediately. Additionally, working with an experienced attorney can help ensure that you and your children have the legal protections that you need. While I can't teach you how to make your co-parent change their behavior, they are who they are, what I can teach you are a few key techniques to help protect your children, yourself, and your future. You have the power to take control of your situation, safeguard your children, and reclaim your peace of mind. This masterclass is here to help you do just that. What I'm about to share with you are proven tools you can start using immediately to protect your kids, safeguard your sanity, and build a brighter future during and after the divorce process. If you're here today, it means that you're ready to shift from merely surviving to truly thriving. And I couldn't be more thrilled to guide you through it. This masterclass is a result of 7 years of experience and dedication. It's built on my own journey as a divorced mom, insights from working with hundreds of clients, and the wisdom of some incredible mentors who have generously shared their expertise with me. Judges, attorneys, custody evaluators, forensic accountants, deposition and trial prep coaches, and mediation experts have all shaped my understanding of this complex process. Beyond my personal and professional experience, I collaborate with brands like Talking Parents and SoberLink to educate their audiences on strategies that mitigate the effects of divorce on children and streamline the process for the healthy parent. These partnerships give me unique insights into cutting-edge tools and techniques that truly make a difference. I've also spent countless hours researching, testing, and perfecting these strategies and tools that I use every day with my clients. What you're about to learn isn't just a theory. This is real-world, battle-tested advice that's helped countless moms not just survive their divorce, but reclaim their lives and thrive in the aftermath. Now, a little bit about me personally. I grew up in sunny Oceanside, California, in a family that valued hard work and commitment. Marriage to me was forever. Divorce was something that other people dealt with. Life, however, had other plans. When my marriage ended, I was blindsided. But instead of dwelling on the why, I chose to focus on the what's next. That shift in mindset didn't just help get me through it. It allowed me to rebuild and ultimately thrive. Now I'm a successful coach and a proud mom of my two incredible kids, a kind, empathetic, and spirited girl, and a thoughtful, creative boy. Both are school aged and they're the heart of everything I do. They've taught me more about resilience, unconditional love, and laughter than I ever thought possible. Like you, I want to set them up for a future filled with stability, happiness, and peace. And that's why I'm so passionate about this work. One of my clients once shared a moment of clarity with me that echoes my own experience. She told me, I realized that if I didn't take control of my situation, no one else would. It was up to me to shape my future. Divorce for her and for me became a turning point. It wasn't just an ending, it was an opportunity to create something better. And that same opportunity exists here for you now. You may be asking yourself, who is this masterclass for? If you're anything like the clients that I work with every day, you're probably exhausted. You've survived the chaos for years, walking on eggshells, bracing for explosions, and doing everything in your power to shield your kids and yourself from the fallout. Something finally broke the cycle and led you to this moment. Maybe it was the last time he cheated. Maybe it was a physical altercation. Maybe he walked out. Or maybe after years of trying to hold it together, you saw the abuse for what it was and realized the toll it was taking on you and your children. Some of you might still be in that relationship. Trying couples counseling, like several of my clients have, if that's the case. Let me give you an important side note. Narcissistic personality disorder cannot be cured. The majority of marriage counselors and relationship coaches aren't trained to deal with NPD and often fail to understand the damage it inflicts, not just on the abused, but also on the children. I speak from countless client experiences. If you go back or continue to stay in a relationship with a narcissist, you are endangering your well-being and that of your children. Most of you, however, have already left the relationship. Wherever you are in the process, walking away is just the first step of the journey. It's a big step, yes, but it's not the summit. You might feel like you're staring up at this massive mountain, one that you didn't even know that you'd have to climb. You probably thought walking away would bring peace, but now you find yourself wading through an even deeper sea of chaos. The messages come in one after another: threats, emotional bait, excessive legal motions, and of course, there's the dynamic duo, your ex and their narcissistic attorney. Yes, narcissists do love to help one another, at least until they're no longer useful to each other. If you're like my client, Janelle, your heart is with your kids. How will this divorce affect them? How can I shield them from the turmoil? Will they grow up to marry a narcissist like I did? Or worse, become one themselves? Or maybe you're like Andrea. She not only faced emotional abuse, but also financial manipulation. Her husband hid assets, and when she filed for divorce, he miraculously lost his job at the company that he owned. So whether you're a seven-figure earner navigating a custody battle, a stay-at-home mom trying to rebuild your financial footing, or someone just taking those first overwhelming steps into the divorce process, this masterclass is for you. You're here because you know that you deserve better, and you're ready to fight for it. Not with chaos or conflict, but with clarity, strategy, and confidence. You're doing it. You've mommed up, and you're taking the steps to protect your children, your peace, and your family's future. People like you and people like Andrea and Janelle are why I do this. Over the years, I've seen the system fail too many moms. Judges don't always recognize narcissistic behaviors for what they are. Attorneys can overlook the emotional toll of custody battles, and the process itself can feel like it was designed to wear you down. But here's the thing, you're not alone anymore. You've got me in your corner, and I'm here to make sure you don't just climb that mountain, you conquer it. I created this masterclass to level the playing field. and provide you with the tools, strategies, and insights I've gathered over the years so that you can scale that mountain with clarity, confidence, and a whole lot less stress. Together, we'll work on protecting your children, preserving your sanity, and building the future you truly deserve. After all, the 3 life-changing strategies were designed to give you a clear, no-nonsense understanding of the key tactics you can use when divorcing a narcissist. So you're not just surviving, but actively protecting what I like to call the 3 main pillars of your divorce: your children, yourself, and your family's future. Life-changing strategy number 1 is protecting your children, where I'll introduce you to the Santa Claus Principle. We'll uncover how to protect your kids emotionally during this roller coaster ride of a time. Because let's face it, their innocence doesn't need to get dragged into the courtroom drama. Think of this as the ultimate gift that you can give your kids. Life-changing strategy number 2 is protecting yourself, where we will cover the boundary decision tree. I've developed this 3-step system to help you decide when to stand firm and when to bend, so that you're not wasting time or energy on decisions that drain your sanity. With this strategy, you'll learn how to use boundaries for yourself instead of against your ex. And finally, life-changing strategy number 3 is protecting your future by communicating like a professional. I cannot stress enough how important it is to present yourself in the best possible light in family court. And here's a staggering statistic. 82% of mothers in divorce involving personality disorders report that custody proceedings were used as a form of continued control or abuse. This doesn't just happen during the divorce process, it often continues long after. That's why having the right tools to navigate family court is essential. It's not just about surviving the proceedings, it's about reclaiming your voice, your confidence, and your power. Today, we'll dive into how to protect yourself as the calm, composed, and collected parent using my kind method for communication. That means you're going to come across as the stable, rock-solid caregiver your kids need. And as a bonus, stay with me till the end and you'll receive my AI hacks for co-parenting communication with your narcissistic ex and my kind method of communication cheat sheet. These tools are game changers for simplifying and de-escalating communication while keeping everything documented and organized. Because when chaos is swirling all around you, clarity becomes your greatest superpower. So grab your notebook and snacks, because snacks make everything better, and let's get started. Together, we're not just navigating this chapter, we're turning it into the launch pad for your best life yet. It's time to take back control and rewrite your story on your terms. Let's get started with the first life-changing strategy for when you're divorcing a narcissist, which is protecting your children. My Santa Claus Principle is one of the most impactful concepts that I teach parents because it shifts the way parents view their role in protecting their children's emotional well-being during a divorce. It's helped countless parents separate their own hurt and anger from their parenting, giving their children the gift of a stable, safe, and happy childhood. Young children see the world and their parents through a magical lens, much like they view Santa Claus. To them, their parents are superheroes, infallible and all-knowing. At the same time, kids see each parent as a reflection of themselves. As they grow older and begin to form their own identities, they naturally gain the ability to understand and process their parents' imperfections. The magic fades on its own, and children come to terms with reality in their own time. If you try to rush this process by disproving the magic and exposing maybe that their other parent isn't the person that they thought they were, it can deeply harm their sense of self. By saying things like, "Your dad is a liar," or "Your dad abandoned us," this often translates in their minds as, "I'm a liar," or "I'm not lovable." At this young age, they internalize everything. They cannot yet separate their sense of self from their parents. So protecting their innocence means resisting the urge to overshare adult information that they are not developmentally ready to handle. This doesn't mean that you're hiding the truth forever. It's about giving them the emotional space to process things as they mature. Think of it as shielding them from an R-rated movie or a graphic conversation about adult topics. You're not being dishonest. You're preserving their sense of safety, stability, and innocence until they're ready to understand. It's an investment in their emotional health, and trust me, it will pay off. And it's important to note for older kids and teens, this principle is more about staying neutral and creating an open, safe environment for them to share their observations. They'll see the truth in time, and when they do, they'll remember how you handled it. By following my Santa Claus principle, you'll achieve several outcomes. You'll preserve their self-esteem and identity. You'll avoid damaging their relationship with you or their other parent. And we all know how much children do as we do and not as we say, which is why it's so important to model healthy communication and emotional boundaries. One of the most important truths is this: time will reveal the other parent's behaviors without you needing to force it. Your role is to protect your child's ability to trust and love, not just others, but themselves. Now take a moment to reflect. Think of one specific instance where you've struggled to hold back negative comments about the other parent. How could you reframe that moment using the Santa Claus principle? Maybe you said something you regret, and that's okay. This principle isn't about being perfect. It's about being mindful moving forward. And if needed, offering a sincere apology can help repair the situation and model accountability for your children. With the Santa Claus principle and other tools like Neutralize the Narcissist, I was able to avoid damaging my children's self-esteem. Now that they're older, they've started to recognize some of those negative behaviors on their own. And I'm so grateful I gave them the space to grow into this new era. We'll talk more about how my Neutralize the Narcissist communication guide can help you a little later in the masterclass. For now, though, I'd like to point out how Jenny's story is a powerful reminder that staying focused on your children's needs, even during the most challenging times, can make a lasting impact. It's not about perfection, it's about intention and prioritizing their emotional health. Before we dive into life-changing strategy number 2, I'd like to talk a little about what a boundary is so that you're better able to apply this strategy and understand its worth. Boundaries often get misunderstood, especially in high conflict relationships. Some people think of boundaries as a way to control or change someone else's behavior, but that's not their purpose at all. Boundaries are about you, your well-being, your emotional energy, and your stability. Think of boundaries as a protective barrier that keeps you from being dragged into the chaos of someone else's actions. They're not walls to shut people out completely, but rather guideposts that remind you what you will and won't tolerate. Here's the key. Boundaries don't change the other person. They change you, how you respond, what you engage with, and where you draw the line to protect your peace. When used effectively, boundaries become your framework for navigating difficult situations without getting pulled into the emotional whirlwind that a narcissist co-parent or an ex might create. For example, if your ex constantly sends manipulative messages or tries to escalate conflicts, a boundary might look like deciding not to engage with anything. You can't stop them from sending those texts, but you can control how much of your emotional energy you're giving to them. And even when you devote time to them, boundaries also teach others how to treat you. When you're consistently sticking to your boundaries calmly and firmly, it sends a message. You respect yourself and you won't be drawn into unnecessary drama. Over time, this often forces the other person to adjust, even if only slightly, because they realize that they're not going to get the reaction that they want. Ultimately, boundaries work because they allow you to remain in control of your own life. They give you clarity, protect your emotional reserves, and ensure that you're making the best decisions that align with your values rather than reacting to someone else's behavior. So when setting boundaries, remember the goal isn't to change them, it's to preserve yourself, your stability, your children, and your sanity, because that's where your true power lies. So life-changing strategy number 2 is protecting yourself. Divorcing and then co-parenting with a narcissist can feel like a never-ending tug of war, with every decision turning into a battleground. This is why the boundary decision tree is such a game changer. Think of it as your personal guide to deciding when to draw the line and when to be flexible. Here's how it works. First, ask yourself, does this benefit the children? Always start here. If the answer is yes, if the situation provides a meaningful benefit to your kids, consider being flexible. But if it doesn't, or if it could harm them emotionally, physically, or even disrupt their routine, it's time to set a firm boundary. Next, does this impact your own time and energy? Your time and energy are finite resources. If a request or a situation is draining you unnecessarily or disrupting your ability to show up as the best version of yourself, setting a boundary is essential to preserve your well-being. Next, I want you to ask yourself, what would a professional say? Step back and imagine you're consulting a therapist, an attorney, a mediator, or your divorce coach. What would they recommend? What would a judge think in this situation? An outside perspective can provide clarity, especially when emotions are running high or the situation feels overwhelming. This framework was created to empower you to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting emotionally. In the world of high conflict co-parenting, that shift can be a lifesaver for your sanity. Down with an example to show how the boundary decision tree works in real life. Imagine your ex texts you at the last minute asking to trade weekends. First, ask yourself, does this benefit your children? Will the swap give them meaningful quality time, like attending a family event or a birthday party? If the answer is yes, it may be worth considering flexibility. Next, ask yourself, does this impact your own time and energy? Have you already made plans or commitments for that weekend? If accommodating the request disrupts your schedule or feels like it's part of a manipulative pattern, it's entirely valid to set a boundary. Next, ask yourself, what would a professional say? A therapist or mediator might suggest agreeing to the swap, but requesting advance notice in the future to prevent unnecessary disruption. If it's becoming a frequent issue, they might also recommend revisiting the parenting plan to address it more formally. This process isn't about drawing hard lines. It's about making intentional choices that reflect your values and align with your children's needs. Take a moment to think about this boundary. Take a moment to think about a boundary you could benefit from setting right now. Maybe it's with your co-parent, maybe it's with a friend or family member. Let's look at Angela's story as an example. Angela used the decision tree flowchart to navigate her narcissistic ex's constant requests for extra time with her 2 children. Here's what she shared. Tessa's decision tree flowchart was my go-to when I was struggling to decide whether to set a boundary. Early in my divorce, I used it constantly. Through working with Tessa, I realized that boundaries weren't about trying to control or change his behavior. They were about defining and protecting my own. That shift changed everything. Now he knows we stick to the parenting plan, and when I set a boundary, I follow through. It's been a game changer for my sanity, and it's created more consistency for my kids. Angela's story shows how tools like the boundary decision tree can do more than just protect your time and energy. They can restore your peace of mind and help you approach co-parenting with confidence. With practice, these decisions will become second nature, allowing you to parent from a place of strength and clarity. In just a bit, I'll share how you can get the full version of the boundary decision tree, known as the boundary decision tree flow chart, to make these strategies even more actionable. And remember, the boundary decision tree isn't about being perfect. It's about making choices that honor your values and priorities while keeping your kids' well-being front and center. Finally, let's dive into life-changing strategy number 3, which will protect your future. If there's one place where staying calm, cool, and collected pays off, it is in family court. Here's the reality. Family court isn't interested in the emotional fireworks. They're focused on who is putting the children first and demonstrating stability. Missteps in communication, like reacting emotionally or coming off as defensive, can backfire and make you look like you're the problem, even when you're not. And the stakes are very high. Did you know that children in high conflict divorces are 50% more likely to suffer from anxiety and depression? Much of this stems from being caught in the middle of parental disputes and communication breakdowns, not from the actual divorce itself. Research shows that conflict is a more important factor than divorce per se in predicting how well children function. So much so, in fact, that children whose parents have a lot of conflict and who stay married have the most difficulty psychologically. Protecting their future health and wellness means protecting them from the conflict. And family court judges know this. To help you navigate this high stakes environment, I developed my KIND method. My KIND method is your secret weapon for shielding your kids from the chaos while presenting yourself as the calm, composed, rock-solid parent the court wants to see. Let's take a look at that now. Here's what KIND stands for. K is for keep it short. Forget the paragraph-long essays or the emotional rants. Stick to the essentials. When you're communicating with your co-parent on a co-parenting app or through email, think bare bones communication that delivers the message without unnecessary fluff or drama. Less is more, and concise is key. I is for information only. Focus on the facts. The court does not need a running commentary on your ex's behavior, and neither does your ex. Just the facts, ma'am. N is for nice. I get it. You want to scream, vent, or send a snarky reply. Resist the urge. Staying polite and professional won't just help you look good, it'll also drive your ex nuts because you're refusing to take the bait. And then we have D for determines the end. You don't want to let conversations spiral into endless back and forths. Say what needs to be said, wrap it up, and move on. This isn't a Netflix series, it's a transaction. I've included a downloadable KIND method of communication cheat sheet for your reference. Use it whenever you're communicating with your ex to stay grounded and on track. The High Conflict Institute found that individuals who use structured, unemotional communication reduce the frequency of conflict escalation by 35%. And we all know that when things get escalated, they often stay that way for a while. That's exactly why I designed the KIND method, to give you a simple way to keep conflict from escalating. The KIND method works because it shifts the focus back to your kids while reinforcing your role as the stable, responsible parents who puts the kids first and who stays above the drama. And that's what the KIND method helps you achieve. But the KIND method is just the beginning. It's not just about saying the right things. It's about being the parent who leads with clarity and composure. Up next, I'll explain a little bit more about how to use the KIND method and why it's your best tool for standing out as the credible, child-centered. Here's the golden rule. Always keep the focus on your kids. If your ex lobs an emotional grenade, like accusing you of being controlling just because you want to stick to the agreed upon parenting plan for pickup and drop off times, you need to redirect it, kind of like steering a toddler mid-meltdown away from the candy aisle and toward a shiny balloon. It's all about staying calm and keeping the focus where it belongs. In comes the KIND method. Instead of getting sucked into their narrative, you're going to keep it short, give information only, be nice, and determine the end of the conversation. If they send a paragraph, Search through that paragraph and find the only part of it that you actually need to respond to. Why does this work? You come across as the calm, logical parent who prioritizes the kids. Also, you're subtly highlighting that they're not exactly doing the same without saying it outright. Want to validate their perspective without buying into the nonsense? Say something like, I see how this could be frustrating. Let's focus on finding a solution that works best for our child. What's happening here? You're showing empathy while holding your ground. It's like being a verbal ninja, playing both defense and offense simultaneously. Here's the hard truth. High conflict divorce cases can drag on up to 5 times longer than low conflict ones, often because of poor communication and constant back and forth. Nobody wants that, especially not your children. That's why I created the Neutralize the Narcissist e-booklet that we will talk about later. It's packed with tips, go-to phrases, and techniques to help you cut through the noise, diffuse the drama, and stand tall like the unshakable rock star mom that you are. When you present yourself as calm, strategic, and laser focused on your kids' well-being, you will show up as the stable parent. Your children will know you're the stable parent. Your co-parent will know that you're the stable parent. And this is how you're going to win, not just in court, but in creating a brighter, healthier future for yourself and your children. Emily's journey is a perfect example of how shifting your focus, framing your case around your children, and using these tools can lead to incredible results. Here's what she had to say. I knew from my attorney that the court was going to be interested in my child's best interest, and I was too. But it wasn't until I worked with you that I truly understood what that meant and how I could actually show the court that I was the one that was looking out for them, not my crazy ex that wanted to buy them toys and take them on trips instead of paying child support and making sure they got to school every day. Tessa really helped me utilize the tools I needed to come out of family court with what I believe was the best possible decision for my family. Emily's experience shows how staying calm, prepared, and focused on what truly matters, the well-being of your children, can make all the difference. These tools aren't just about surviving family court. They're about creating the best possible outcome for your family's future. I've shared a few tools to help you through this very tough time, and we've heard from several women in the exact same place that you are now. But let's take a moment to acknowledge the challenges that you're facing. You probably just want this whole thing to be over. Divorcing a narcissistic ex is exhausting, mentally, emotionally, and even physically. You're constantly walking on eggshells, trying to anticipate their next move. Maybe you're worried about how to protect your child from the chaos and how to keep custody of your kids. What manipulative tactic they'll use next to try to control you. Whether you'll come out of this divorce financially stable or even have the resources you need to move forward. Whatever you're thinking, I know you're feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, and even scared or angry. And let's be real. The court system often doesn't see the full picture, leaving you feeling powerless and unheard. If any of this sounds familiar, you're not alone. And even more importantly, you don't have to do this alone. But here's the hard truth. This is likely just the beginning, or at least not as close to the end as you'd hoped. High conflict divorces often take a significantly longer time to resolve compared to low conflict or uncontested divorce. In fact, research shows that these contentious divorces can take 2 to 5 times longer, dragging out the stress and uncertainty. Maybe you've even tried mediation or negotiating fairly, only to hit brick wall after brick wall. Maybe you hired a great divorce attorney, followed all the court orders, and trusted the system to protect you, only to face yet another motion or custody dispute. Maybe you've tried bending over backwards to avoid conflict, hoping it would calm the chaos. Maybe you've even hired a divorce coach, but still felt like you didn't have the tangible tools that you truly needed. Or perhaps you're just in the early stages of a high conflict divorce, staring down what feels like a never-ending road. Or alternatively, you have a high-stakes negotiation looming right around the corner. And yet here you are, still stuck, still frustrated, still blindsided by the narcissist's endless games. Here's the thing. It's not that you haven't tried hard enough. It's that you haven't had the right tools. Until now. No matter where you are in this journey, I want you to know that change is possible. Real transformative change. So get ready because everything is about to shift for the better. This is your moment to take back control. There's a better way to handle your narcissistic ex, and it starts here. Introducing the Divorce Survival Guide for Moms, Narcissist Edition. Your ultimate playbook to outsmart, outlast, and reclaim your peace. In this 7-module course, I'll share how to successfully navigate a divorce from a narcissist like no other expert can. Here's a sneak peek of what we'll cover. We're going to start by determining your why. This anchors you and keeps you focused on the outcomes that matter most. Because when things get tough, having clarity makes all the difference. Next, we'll dive into understanding the narcissistic abuse cycle so that you can put a stop to the abuse and move on with your life. Finally, break the trauma bond for good, learn how narcissists operate, recognize the cycle of abuse, and arm yourself with the tools to break free emotionally and mentally, even in the complex dynamics of high net worth divorces. Next, I'm going to go over communication strategies for divorcing a narcissist. Discover the words that will set him off and what to say instead. Plus, we'll tackle how to stay calm and handle triggers like a pro, ensuring you keep your peace no matter what he throws at you. In Module 3, we're going to talk about protecting the children during your divorce. We'll address critical topics like parental alienation allegations, and domestic abuse by proxy. And I'll guide you through creating a parenting plan tailored to your unique situation that truly works for your family. I've also included my co-parent boundary decision tree flowchart in this module to make deciding when to set a boundary even easier. Next, we'll go over strategies for success in family court. For those navigating custody battles, this module is like having a roadmap for moms who've been there. You'll learn how to document like a pro so the court clearly sees what's in your child's best interest. We'll also dive into handling false allegations, building your own counter evidence campaign, and ensuring the court sees through the financial smoke and mirrors common in high net worth divorce cases. Module 5, we go into negotiating outside of court. So before stepping into mediation or negotiation, you're going to need this module. From identifying your leverage to understanding how narcissists play dirty, you'll be equipped to stand firm. This module will help uncover potential hidden assets, help you map out how to leverage them to get the assets you really want and need to thrive post-divorce with your children. Plus, you'll learn how to interview attorneys and ensure that you have the right support. In Module 6, we go over financial fitness for moms. This module begins with pre-divorce planning for those who are preparing to take the leap and guides you through every stage of achieving financial stability. Learn how to create a detailed budget that reflects your current standard of living and calculate the exact amount that you're going to need to maintain it, which is an essential step for high net worth moms who are navigating divorce. I've included the power of AI in divorce. This one is a game changer. Learn how to use AI to craft persuasive testimony, write a calm and collected message to your narcissistic ex, and cut through the noise. Oh, and there's a little bonus at the end because I couldn't resist. This isn't just a course. It is a battle-tested system designed just for moms like you. moms navigating high conflict exes, moms protecting their kids, moms ready to reclaim their power and secure their financial future, no matter how complex their high net worth divorce may be. Now, if you're starting to feel overwhelmed, please don't be. I've broken everything down into simple, easy to follow modules so that you can confidently navigate the materials and focus on protecting your children, yourself, and your financial future. You can either binge it all in one day like a Netflix miniseries, or you can spread it out over the course of a week, 2 or 3, whatever works for your schedule. Even a super busy mom like you can complete this and reap the benefits for yourself and your children. So why this course? When building this course, I could have released a watered down version at a lower cost, but that wouldn't give you everything you need to succeed in the unique situation that you are in. This course is packed with valuable information, secret hacks to optimize your outcomes, and actionable steps that you can take during the divorce process to help you succeed and make it to the other side thriving. This course is a culmination of implementable strategies that I've gathered and created by working with countless experts and clients over the years. This is the same material I teach my private clients, plus some. And guess what? It actually works. To make things easier, I've included a full suite of bonuses, practical, no-fluff resources designed to help you feel confident and supported every step of the way. First, we have my Narcissist Playbook to predict and counter their every move. Also, the Evidence Matrix. Organize your documentation for court like a pro. Also, the Neutralize the Narcissist Communication Guide. Shut down their drama with calm, composed responses. In addition to that, I'm including my Parenting Plan Template Guide and Parenting Plan Blueprint. Choose the best plan for your family's needs and protect your children with safeguards made just for children with a narcissistic co-parent. Also, my What to Gather checklist. Be 100% prepared for court or negotiation. The Negotiation Roadmap and Field Guide. Win your negotiation without getting played. And my Comprehensive Family Budget for Single Moms. Plan smartly and avoid financial freefall. I'm including my attorney interview questions and custody battle resources to help you build your dream team. And my children's book, Stella's Two Homes, a digital download. This children's book will help your kids process their new reality and step into their next chapter. And exclusive access to the Mom and Divorce Support Group, a private, judgment-free community of women who get it. The total value of this course and its resources is well over $4,900, but I've priced it to be accessible for those who need it most. Instead of the regular price, you can enroll today for a one-time investment of $497. That's a huge savings and a fraction of what many spend on just a few hours with an expert like an attorney. This program was built with busy, overwhelmed moms in mind. You can binge it like a Netflix series or go module by module. Either way, it's built for traction, not just theory. It is the same exact strategies that I use with my private coaching clients, plus extras that I've developed after working closely with attorneys, forensic accountants, therapists, and real moms who faced exactly what you're facing now. The results speak for themselves. Just ask Carla, who said, "Working with Tessa gave me the confidence I needed to take the power back from my co-parent." Or May, who shared, "I thought I was doing the right thing, but this course helped me shift how I showed up, and the court finally saw what I was really dealing with." You have been surviving long enough. It's time for you and your kids to thrive. Time to take back your power, protect your children, and rebuild your life with clarity, confidence, and a course that actually works. When you're ready, I'll be right here.